Beginning a new year is a time of excitement and goal setting and overall renewal.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. But I don't even know if I'm doing this right.
For 2025, I'm using the numbers 2 and 5 and 25 to inspire my reading plan ideas, we could call them. I want to remain inspired and joyful about my year.
I want to be surprised.
So for me, allowing room for mood reading and lots of booktube community interaction and involvement is important. The first and second points of my list will be books that you help choose.
We're just doing that.
First, play on the number 25. I want to read 25 nonfiction books in 2025. I have gotten really into nonfiction over this last year, and I'm really looking forward to expanding what I've read.
So there's that.
Specifically, older United States politics and things relating to war, but also getting overseas, delving into some of the history of the world as a whole. Next, the number 25 again. I plan to read 25 Newbery books. This could be the Newbery Award or the Newbery Honor. That is kind of like differentiating between first place and second place or honorable mention. So those are written for about the 5th or 6th grade level, but they're often, always, I would say, a mature story as in depth. They are the same truth about a situation in life that you could get in an adult novel, but written for that 5th or 6th grade level.
What's it called again?
One Newbery every month. Now, I realize to read 25 in the year, it would seem that I should require 2 a month. But there may be times that I'm excited about Newberries, so by requiring 1 each month, that leaves me open for times like middle grade March when I want to really delve in and read quite a few. Next up is a play on the number 5.
They didn't find that so funny.
5 books in the same series. So while some of my goal, in fact a big part of my goal for the year, is to read books I already own and that are sitting on my shelves unread. For this 5 books in the same series, I am not requiring myself to own any of the books. I do have 3 series in mind. None of them do I own all 5 in that series, and the series could be longer than 5. In order to play on the number for our year 2025, I'm only requiring 5. So while I have 3 series in mind, I don't have access to all 5 of those books right now anyway. So if there's a series that has come to your mind that has at least 5 books in it, tell me it below so that I can consider that series as well.
Okay, enough on that.
Yeah. My 4th idea in planning for 2025 is using the number 5 again, and it is 5 books by authors I have met in person. Now, they may not know my name, and we may certainly be not in the friend category or close friends, but these would be people that I have somehow come into contact with, whether it was a book signing or just in passing somewhere in life. And as I read them, I will tell you how I know them or how I've met them and why I chose what book I did. For these 5, I may not necessarily already own the books, but I am going to be picking them myself since you don't know what authors I've already met. The next idea continues that number 5 streak, and it is to do 5 buddy reads throughout 2025. I already have my first one planned with a real life friend, Sarah, who also loves to read, and she and I talked because I came across several books that I realized, since I don't read the books on my shelves in a timely manner, I have bought 2 of a number of books. So instead of just giving those away, I asked Sarah if she would be interested in me giving them to her, and maybe we could buddy read some of them. So she was excited about it and said yes. So in January, we are reading My Dear Hamilton together. And I'm excited to do this type of buddy read where we will actually chat about it and see what different opinions we have, same opinions. We will find out.
What do you call them? Like reading clubs? Sounds kind of fun to be in a club.
My sixth idea for my 2025 plan jumps over to the number 2, and it is to read 2 books with an identical title. So it can't change and have the word the and the other not have the word the, unless something happens and I absolutely am desperate. That may be my only concession that I make to this one. My goal is for them to have an exact title. Where did I come up with this idea of 2 books with an identical title? Well, I completed this in 2024. I had planned to read a Newbery book in 2024, and I did read it, called Dicey Song by Cynthia Voigt. And when I went to read that book, I realized it is not the first book in a series. It is actually the second book. The first book in that series is called Homecoming. As I went to search for Homecoming to reserve it at my library, I came across that there are quite a few books called Homecoming. As well as reading Homecoming by Cynthia Voigt, I chose to also read Homecoming by Kate Morton, and I loved it. Books were totally different, set in different times, completely different premises, and a name like Homecoming is a wide net being cast. I thought that was so fun, so I decided, since we still have a 2 in our number of 2025, and we will for many years, to try reading 2 books with an identical title again. I have no idea what 2 books I will choose for this. As I read along in books I own through the year, if I realize there's another book out there with the same title, I may go with that. If you know of 2 books with the same title and you think they're both amazing, let me know, because I have no idea which 2 books will end up happening for this prompt. For my last book-specific idea for this list, I am going to flip-flop the number 25 to become 52. And I do plan to attempt the 52 book club. I'll be letting you know things off my shelf that fit those prompts that I am keeping all together in a list, and I've come up with 2 options for almost every prompt that, as I read along through the year to meet the goal of the 52 book club, I will still be able to work in mood reading to read as many as possible that are already sitting on my bookshelves but have been left unread. Whatever feels enjoyable to me, whether it's that I want to squeeze in a short book or a long book, that goal will be followed along fairly specifically with things I already own. There will be a couple of prompts that are set out there by the makers of the 52 book club where I will need to get borrowed books, whether it's because it specifies an audiobook or 2 books that work together, things like that.
By the way, I like to have huge variety in the books that I read because my brain needs like a little break from deep stuff.
On to my goals that are just book-ish. So I am planning in 2025 to have 5 times that I have coffee with a book-loving friend. Specifically, I hope to at least chat a little bit about books during that, but no pressure. Another thing is I would like to hand make paper. This is something I believe I did in school at some point. I have looked into it some as an adult and just not had the supplies and not jumped into the process, but I would love.
And I'm not sure what to make of that.
Next, a bookish thing I would like to do is to host a reading challenge, and I already have that mostly planned. I just need to figure out the details and when I want to get that launched out there. 2025 to hand make paper. And the next one is a goal that I realized I wanted to do through this year as I would read books and I would love them and I would think to myself, who suggested this book? I would like to tell them that I liked it. So in 2025, I plan to track who suggests the books that I add to my TBR, especially the books that when someone tells me about it, it is so enticing that I immediately jump onto my library app to put it on reserve or jump on Amazon and actually buy it. I really want to be able to come back and tell those people that they made an impact by convincing me to read a book. So, welcome to 2025. Let's do this and let's get our reading on.
Okay, that was all I had to say about that.